All right, what's up, guys? Welcome to the Signal Path Podcast. And with me, I'm a very special guest.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Brandon from the band Radium.
Awesome. Yeah, Brandon's been a long-time TSP member, so we'll get started today.
Join our challenges. The Signal Path.
All right, guys, we have Brandon with us today, and we're going to be talking about his band Radium Moon. Also, and he was just sharing with me, you guys are from the Quebec area, I'm assuming.
Yeah, we're from Montreal.
Montreal, yes. So, and let you introduce yourselves.
So I'm Brandon. I play guitar, lead singer, I guess. We have two lead singers. The other one would be Sandrine. She also plays bass, and we got Raphael on drums. Both
Nice.
are not here, as you can see.
Yeah, so you guys are Canada based. I'm probably going to see if I can talk to you guys about talking to Andrew Walsh. He's got this whole East Coast DNA thing for Canada. I think they do a lot of Nova Scotia, Halifax area based music. But since you guys are in Canada, I might be able to hook you guys up.
Yeah, well, we're really close to the East Coast. That's definitely on our tour calendar in the future.
I hear you, dude. Yeah, awesome. And you guys are mostly I would say more in the heavier blues rock area.
I would call it just alternative rock. Heavy
Okay. Yeah, cool. I'm digging your
type of stuff, you know.
Yeah. So I was jamming to a few of your tracks today, and we were talking about just kind of how we're introduced. So originally, I think I met you through a mutual friend. We have Patrick Waters, who's also in the Le Revenant.
Yeah, I think I'm actually wearing his shirt right now.
Oh man,
I am.
I represent. Check that out. Yeah, and I think our mutual agreement of checking out gear all the time, and you see me post my shenanigans every day. So,
but Pat actually helped me get into pedals a lot. I'm kind of a newbie at it.
Okay, was you like an always straight in the amp kind of guy, or?
No, for years I had a Marshall AVT 150 head, and it had all the effects built into it, had the pedal board that came with it. So I was running all my effects just like straight out of that head.
Oh, cool. Yeah, and I've had a lot of experience with multi-effects. That's usually what got me started. I would say what got me started with like the single box units was like delays and things like that, and that's where my love for it came back more or less in the later 2010s. I was for the longest time I was a straight into an amp, and my amp of choice was the Mesa Dual rectifier. And one time I got a pretty good return where I could get one, and I jammed on that for about 12 years. And then sadly sold it because I thought I would be playing drums in a band and funded that, and that whole band fell apart. But
oh no,
yeah, for me getting into pedals, honestly, the amp does carry a lot, so good amp choices usually help a lot, and that's something I always encourage. But so what you currently running now as far as like amps and pedals?
Well, when that amp crapped out, I got myself a little orange micro terror.
Nice.
Picked one of those up recently. I've seen your videos.
Yeah, the Tiny Terror, I actually got that on trade from trading a guitar, and I've been enjoying that thing. Yeah, and that's been kind of my thing is making trades so I can meet more people and get us new members at TSP and that kind of thing.
Yeah. So but, I got that little orange Tiny Terror just to get by. I was running it through the Marshall 412 that you can see back there. It's not the greatest. It's the AVT series, so like pretty low end. But yeah, not being able to play with all the effects that were in my Marshall amp, I was like, what am I gonna do? I got to start getting some pedals. So went on Facebook, checked out the pedal groups, checked out all the YouTube videos, saw what was up, and I think that's where I met Pat on. It wasn't on your group though; it was on Stompbox Talk.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm familiar with Stompbox Talk as well.
Yeah, so yeah, I started running some pedals through the little orange head, and it sucked. So I was like, all right, I got to get new amps. So recently, within I don't know the past 9 months, I think I picked up a trainer all tube, two 10-inch 80 watts, and that thing was beast.
Yeah, and as you know, like 80 watts is measured in heat, and for a tube amp, 80 watts is a lot, man. Because having having an experience of having a half stack on stage, and it was 120 watts. I don't think I ever turned that amp past 3 or 4. I would have
Oh
been
yeah,
deaf.
I keep it low and it rips.
Yeah, and now I'm running a 60-watt amp and a 15-watt amp, so that's like a huge contrast. One's dimed out because it's 15 watts, so I'm giving it all she got, Captain. And then the other one, I'm probably about 2 or 3 ish on the other side. I would say with the Hot Rod Deluxe, and it's been fun with that. For me, I'm just trying to get that stereo wet dry wet kind of thing, and honestly, it's been a that's been my tone journey, as I've been calling it.
Nice. Yeah, I don't understand that whole wet dry stuff. I tried reading into it; it's pretty confusing.
Um, I would think that the number of things that are out there. I'm just saying that I have pretty much it's pretty much a stereo rig for me because I don't really have like a true wet dry. So I use something like a stereo chorus pedal to split my signal. So when I engage the chorus, I'm actually running a stereo chorus, if that makes sense. But then
Okay,
I
cool.
recently moved into that Terraform, which is a multi effects platform, and it's mostly modulations. But I have had I've had a lot of fun with that little box too because it does almost every modulation out there. I mean, it even goes from like univibe all the way up to harmonic tremolo, flange, phaser. All the swirly stuff, as I call it.
Nice.
Yeah. So you got any swirly sounds going on, or?
I think the weirdest thing I have on my board right now is a Kiwi Mesmer.
Okay.
I don't know if you know that one. It's very strange. It's a stoner pedal. Like it just does weird things. I can't even explain it.
Yeah.
I don't use it too often. It doesn't have much like use in actual songs, but it's fun to mess around with it.
Oh yeah, I love experimental stuff. So that's basically like my fun time at the house is playing with experimental tones. But yeah, I'm not exactly a stoner, so I have to say experimental, I guess. So, but
It's very spacey. It does this weird 8-bit thing where it just shifts. It does a lot of things. You can tone it down. You can tone it down so it just has this really spacey vibe. I'd say it's kind of like a reverb, but not quite. It just has this ambience that's very spatial.
nice. So that's modulation. So if you're using the orange and such, what are you running for dirt and dirt pedals in
Well, I'm
it?
not using the orange anymore. That
Okay.
I was using that for like 6 months until I got my trainer, and I was like, yeah, I'm probably gonna sell this little thing.
Yeah.
For dirt, um, well, I like to keep my amp pretty much like right before breakup. Uh, and then my first overdrive is Tube Screamer TS9. That one though, I keep literally like at 1. So like, what's that? 7 o'clock.
Yeah. So with that, that's I would say that that pedal probably pushes you into a focused mid range,
It
which
just gives me that like I like a little bit of crunch in my clean tones.
yeah,
So for me, like the clean tones in my amp are just almost there, but it's like missing the mids that I need. So I just set the Tube Screamer to literally like just over 1, and it just pushes it to that exact sound that I want.
Yeah. I got a pedal similar to that right now. It's actually the full tone full drive, which is based on the SD1 tube screamerish type sounds. And like you said, you got yours at a one. Mine's at a two, just because of I guess where my headroom's at on my pedal board. And it just really puts that mid focus. And so like you got kind of like that mid lows, but it just kind of takes it up a notch where I can get over the cymbals on
Exactly.
yeah on stage. Yeah, and so to
Uh,
me, it just kind of clear, makes it clear. So guitars here when you're talking about the EQ kind of thing. So
exactly. Then after that, I've got a Rat R2.
nice.
Yeah. So that's my heavier overdrive. It's almost a fuzz, not quite.
Yeah, I think they're technically even classifying rat styles into a fuzz because of that whole territory. But I think it has to do with clipping and that kind of thing. But
Yeah,
yeah,
sensitive topic.
yeah, I guess so. But it's never a sensitive topic for me because I run anything, man. You see me run a Zoom, like Zoom 505 and stuff, and just have a ball with it. So
Talking to a fuzz lover is like talking to a Tool fan.
oh yeah, they got the purist, man. Like that's kind of the whole thing. So drives are great, mods are great. You running anything like delays or reverbs, that kind of thing?
Yeah, my go-to is a chorus, definitely. We play like we've got that '90s sound, right? So chorus is definitely my go-to. I use it probably 80% of the time when I'm playing clean.
Okay.
It's nothing special. I did have a custom one being built for me. I'm not even going to get into that. I lost some money there.
Oh no.
Anyway, so right now I'm just running. I think it's a Nux brand, one of those.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I was fortunate enough. A friend of mine, and I get a lot of guys that are probably 10, 20 years older than me. The generation like before us, and a lot of them were from the 80s and 90s and gigging, and a lot of them are downsizing a lot of equipment. And one of my friends was downsizing his rig. He had a DoD stereo FX 65 chorus, and it's just sentimental to me. But that's like to me, that's like one of the best stereo courses I've ever played. And I know people swear by like Boss courses and everything, but to me that DoD is a banger, dude. And
Oh,
it's
if you
just
like it, you like it.
yeah,
I have a more expensive one, a Digitech multi-chorus, but I don't know. I don't like it. There's so many options. You can do so much with it, but I don't know. The whole digital thing, it sounds strange to me,
it's got like
especially
a
with chorus.
yeah, it's got like a sizzle or something to it, like kind of like a
There's so many different things. There's like
yeah.
7 different settings. They're unnamed. It's a weird pedal.
Yeah, that sounds like Digitech too, especially that X morph button or something like that they
Yeah, I
had.
think it even has something like that. I don't know. It's been sitting in a box for years. I haven't even looked at it.
Yeah, man, I got you there. Digital's still good though. Like I've run a lot of digital stuff.
Oh yeah, I'm not crapping on it, but that's like early 2000s Digitech, so we're
Oh
talking
yeah,
not good.
yeah. I mean, they did make some good stuff. I had the RP21D, which is the full floor multi effects.
Okay, is that the red one?
No, that wasn't the red one. It was actually black. It had a tube mini preamp in it, and I also had the rack was the GSP 1100, and it had a foot controller with it, but it also had like the whammy. It had everything Digitech ever made into it, but
Yeah.
it was great to plug straight into and record direct with. That's where it shined. It was more of a studio piece, I would say. And then I just fell away from doing that, and I'm like, well, I really needed like a high gain sound, and that's where I went with the Meza and that kind of thing. And now I'm playing like blues and country and stuff, so I had to tone it down. I'm literally using low gain pedals, which I laughed at when I was in my 20s. I was like, I would never play with a tube screamer.
I was the same way.
Yeah.
Everything was on high. When I was younger, I was running a grunge pedal.
Oh yes, I love the grunge pedal. That's a lot of nostalgia too.
Oh, I used to love it. I thought it was perfect, and now you plug it in, and it's like, oh, that tone. You can't record with that.
Yeah, it's got like that high ice pick high end to it. Yeah. But the Zoom 505 was my first pedal, so I've always shared that. So I'm not trying to throw you under the bus, but like for you, was the ATX head, was that like your first multi effects, or did you have like a first pedal?
That was my first head with multi effects. I never owned a multi effects pedal. Um, my first pedal, wow, that's like years and years ago. Before I even knew what pedals were, it's an early guitarist. I can't even remember what it was. It was a Boss, um, early Overdrive, maybe like an OD1 or SD1. I can't remember.
Oh, yellow box.
It was pale yellow box, yeah.
Yeah.
I think because it was like I said, I bought it at like garage sale or something like that, and somebody had like painted over it with like nail polish or something. Like you could see through it, and it was a yellow pedal of some sort.
Yeah, it seems to me like they always try to color over Boss pedals, like back in the day. I guess because of the enclosure, but that's the fun of it. So we were just talking about digital and analog. I like digital, but I always like a analog drive through, and that's usually what I prefer. I know people that have all digital, and I know people that have all analog. But do you like a blend, or does that matter to you?
You know what? Price matters to me. I get what I can afford.
Yeah, I
Unless I
totally.
unless I really, really, really like something, then I'll spend a little bit more on it. But
I hear you, man. So is that the same way with amps too? Does it really come down to price, or are you just like, I gotta have this because this is like my tone, like kind of thing?
I didn't care before until I got my trainer, and I don't think I'm gonna stray from that sound for the unforeseeable future. I guess because
I hear you, dude.
it's funny because the producer on our album, he was the one who suggested when my app broke. He's like, "Oh yeah, you should get an orange. Trust me, it's amazing." So I got the exact one he recommended, and then I was like, "Ah, this sucks." So I picked up mine, and then as soon as he heard my trainer, he was like, "Oh my god, I need a trainer." So now he's buying
Yeah, yeah, they do make a good amp, and the ones most of the ones I've heard has got really that nice mid range to it. It's a clear head, Fenderish in a way, if that's I guess a adjective to even describe it. But
it's darker.
yeah, that's what to me it's. I don't know. Like I haven't heard a whole lot of albums with it on it, but Trainer's a good build. With with amps, I'm like I said, I'm running the Hot Rod Deluxe because I was like, if I could plug into any amp and it'll be like in a backline, and I can't bring my amp, most likely somebody would have like a Hot Rod Deluxe. So I would figured I needed to dial them up anyways. So I just kind of went with an everyday amp and something that had a lot of parts to it. So it really came down to functionality, price, headroom, for a pedal platform. And I was like, well, 60-watt amp, can't beat it. It's not too loud, it's not too quiet, that kind of thing. And then with that orange, it's just a dark amp, and I'm running my delays, which I run my delays dark because I love like a good tape delay. So having a dark amp on that just kind of gives that warm, underneath it, and that's the only way I can describe it. But all that sound is for me on stage. I don't even really care about front of the house, like when
Well,
I'm
the
playing
orange
most of the time.
terror, the terror one, when you just crank that overdrive to the max, keep it at like a 4 or 5 on the volume, that thing rips.
Yeah,
Like that's with the overdrive tones you hear on our record, Supersonic Jesus. That was the orange Tiny Terror,
oh,
just
nice.
pure overdrive cranked to the max. That's all it was.
Yeah, that is some raw dog in it, man. Like that's what I call it, And amp overdrives are great. That's always what I like. So what we were talking about, you were talking about price. I guess is there really a thing like for you? Do you lean to boutique, or do you lean more towards standard equipment, or does that matter?
It doesn't matter to me. Some of the boutique stuff is really interesting. That's for sure. Um, I mean, what do you even call boutique nowadays?
Yeah, I
Like
think it.
to me, when I got that Kiwi, I was like, "Oh, this is boutique," but I mean, they're a pretty big brand now, so
Yeah. I mean, Robert Keeley's like he's like the grandfather of like pedal engineering, and I mean, becoming an electrical engineer and then putting it to sound and everything. It's a journey on itself. So he's really created a lot of paths for a lot of other builders. So that's where a lot of people have looked at his mods or even looked at some of his shelf builds where it's just something off the shelf.
yeah,
And you can't go wrong with Keeley. I still consider it boutique. I kind of considered Wampler boutique in a way because of that, because
right.
they were taking something that's there and adding a flavor to it that just kind of took it up a notch. And that's to me
That's
that
it. Exactly.
yeah,
They're
because
just going
these
after everything. So it's like, oh, where do they fall?
yeah, and I mean the stuff that's off the shelf they were just basically hot rodding it, kind of like in the like how you would have mechanics that are hot rod mechanics. They did that with pedals, so that's kind of what thought was boutique. When I was in my 20s, I thought Mesa Boogie was boutique, but it's kind of household name for like metal area and that kind of thing. But it was hard to get a Mesa Boogie anywhere, and then Guitar Center carried them for a while, and that's how I actually got mine as well. But it was a bit of an enigma to even get one because they're like, oh, they're not available, and then you have to go to California to get them or something. Yeah,
That
so
was what went around 2005 when they started becoming like widespread popular.
yeah, that's when they got a distribution network, and that was mostly with Guitar Center, and now they're with Sweetwater, which is about the same thing, just more of a internet sales, I would say. And I didn't really care for a whole lot of boutique amps or anything like that, but standard equipment, I could pull anything off the shelf and about dial it up now, just from experience and playing. Just play with everything. That's kind of what I always tell everybody. Don't be afraid to play with it. Like for a while, like I was kind of worried about something like this guy, which is my Duelist, and it's kind of considered like the boutique realm of like Tube Screamer and Blues Breakers. It's a great pedal. I'm afraid to break it, but I still stomp on it. Play it like I stole it. But and then I'll don't want to say it's cheap or anything like that, but I got a friend of ours on TSP. His name's Bill Yell, and he made this clear, transparent overdrive.
Cool.
Yeah, and I'm afraid to break it too because it's plastic.
Yeah.
But it sounds so good. It's like a one knob Timmy
No, that's
almost.
cool.
And I used it as a boost for a while, but unfortunately, with having like 3 or 4 wirelesses on stage, it becomes an antenna because that big copper in the middle.
Oh no.
But I love the thing. But I just love unique stuff, and I just play with the stuff. That's what I always try to tell everybody is that kind of thing. But is there things that you kind of hold dear like that when it comes to playing some of your pedals or your amps or even your guitars?
Oh, I have one pedal that I really love. Everybody else hates it, and it's a little hot tone bit pressure.
Yes.
It's this little pink box, probably like that
It-
big.
yeah. Yeah, and it kind of shreds your signal in a way that, not to make it sound like Mario, but
Got three settings. One that's basically a very lo-fi, like a broken radio signal.
hmm
So it kind of sounds like you're playing out of like an old ham radio or something.
yeah, lo-fi, yeah.
Then you can switch it. I don't really use the other two. I use it as like the lo-fi. I love that setting. The other one is like what do you call that? A phonograph.
Oh yeah, yeah, like the old record player.
Has the big like cornucopia tube that comes out of it. And then the third setting's got this weird, like broken record warped sound to it. It's really cool.
Yeah, so that's probably the most wild setting on it, I guess.
Yeah, but yeah, I use it on the intro for a certain track that I'm not going to name because we haven't released it yet. But
Okay.
it starts out and it sounds like it's playing through this old crackly radio, and it sounds really
Yeah.
awesome.
So pedals like that, like you're saying, like it's more or less a bit crutcher and stuff like that. I find pedals like that. I have to play to the pedal in a way that it makes me creative and it makes me push some creative boundaries. So that's cool. You got to incorporate that into a song.
Yeah, for sure. That's what I've been trying to do with that Kiwi Mesmer, but I just can't figure it out yet.
Yeah, probably just gotta get some time on like on a track or something instead of just jam on it kind of thing.
Yeah, it's the one pedal that's like been on my board, been off my board, been on it, off, on, off, like 15 times. I keep giving it another chance, and then I'm probably gonna take it off again next week.
Yeah, I hear you, dude. So that's the tango with, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. No, my other favorite, like, yeah, my other magic trick on my board would be my Earthquaker. Um, Shit, what's it called? I don't have my board with me. Anyways, it's a reverb delay.
Reverb delay and it's Earthquaker. The Avalanche Run?
No, it's got the
No,
telephone on it. The
got the
dispatch.
dispatch. Yeah,
Yeah,
Dispatch Master. Yeah,
yeah, that thing's fun. I love that.
yeah, that's got a nice slapback echo on it too. If you kind of turn it down.
Yeah, I keep the delay like real tight, and then I crank that reverb up real nice.
And I know a lot of guys that they use that kind of like a pedal just to kind of pad behind their sound, so it's just at a low enough volume, it's not bleeding over top of the main parts, but it just kind of gives a nice room feeling to it.
Yeah,
That's a cool pedal to have.
yeah, definitely my favorite. It was kind of the basis for the custom chorus that I wanted to have made. So it would have essentially been a dispatch master with an additional chorus built into it.
Oh wow,
But
that sounds pretty cool.
that fell apart, so I'm not getting that any day soon, unless there's any builders out there who want to attempt that one for me.
Oh, I'm sure we got a few on TSP that are, there's some guys that post some wild builds on there, as you see.
Yeah,
And I know a few personally that that I kind of go to for all the wild and crazy stuff that's on my board too. With the number of things that we have, uh, I want to say that I have a medium board, but there's kind of a debate right now. Like, what's a minimalist board? What's a really big board? Like, what works for you today?
my board, it's not very big. It just looks big because I have. Um, I don't like to tap dance. I don't know if that's what you guys call it, but
Yeah, definitely.
like I'm the rhythm guitarist and I'm a singer and I've got all these pedals. So I run everything through loop switchers so that everything is just like right in front of me. So yeah, my board looks crammed, but it's really just because I've got two, like I've got a 3 loop switcher and I've got a 6 loop switcher, and then all my other pedals stacked around it. Like
Nice.
tuner pedals, obviously not run into that, but so yeah, it looks like I got a lot, but really I only have like 6, 7 pedals. Yeah.
So you kind of know how everything's mapped out. Do you have to label everything? Like, do you have like the OCD kind of thing going on, or?
No, I don't have to label everything. I just remember. I don't move things around too much. I like to keep the same pedal train going. You know.
Yeah, and that's for me. Like it when I was beginning buying pedals, like you're saying, just getting into pedals kind of thing. I would buy a pedal, and then I had to rip my whole board apart, and I'm like, "Where's this going? My chain?" And
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not too particular about that. Like, I guess it all comes down to the tone, really, that you get. Like people say, put your chorus at the end. For me, my chorus comes right after my overdrive. Um, People say throw your fuzz at the beginning of your chain before a buffer, But I have. It's not the best fuzz. It's a thing made by Sonic Cake is the brand. It's called
oh
the
yeah,
Crazy.
hmm
Um, and yeah, I have that behind. So yeah, I've got my tube screamer, my rat, my chorus, my mesmer, then my fuzz, then my dispatch master, and then my big crusher.
nice. So anything that I've experienced with and I've been called out on is I've actually run a buffer right into a fuzz pedal. So that's where you get those high hisses and stuff, and you're like, oh no, what's wrong with my board? So
I don't find that mine does that. Like, I do not hear a difference between before and after. I don't know. Maybe it's like just they say it could have to do with they call it the germanium.
yeah, those things are finicky. And they're temperature sensitive too, so that's usually kind of the case with it. But for me, I just play stuff, man. Like, and I find what works for me and what works in the mix. I always like to take my stuff to rehearsal and test it out. That's also where I'm experimenting too, because we usually run like a 4 hour set list, so I have time to kind of switch some stuff out or mess with gain levels or volumes, see where if it does blend, or if something bleeds through. Obviously, I'm taking it out and just trying to get a happy medium.
Yeah.
But that's the fun part of experimenting in a mix. Um, do you do that stuff for you, like in rehearsal, or do you do that in studio? Or
Well, I mean, I set my board up for convenience for myself, I guess. Like, depending on the set list I'll be playing, I'll run an overdrive, chorus, and then an overdrive, so that way I can have how would I explain that? Maybe like I'll be playing a clean tone with my chorus on, but I want to switch to an overdrive with my chorus off. That way I can tap two at the same time beside each other without having to do the whole
the tap
dance.
dance thing? Oh
And
wow, yeah. So you're using a lot of functionality there.
well, I can use that both ways, and that's why I set it up overdrive, chorus, overdrive, so that it's like, oh, if I need to do that switch into a light gain, I have it on the right, and if I need to do that switch into a high gain, I have it on the left, and vice versa. And then if I need to go from that into a clean with no chorus, I simply just click the chorus off.
Nice. So you did mention that you guys have some new stuff even coming out. I wanted to talk to you about your. I would say, since you're in the alternative range, what are most of your influences to help your creative juices there?
Oh man, well, I'm a '90s kid by far, so all that grunge stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, Nirvana, Soundgarden, Alice in Chains, Pearl Jam, Green River, Screaming Trees. Man, the list goes on.
I hear you, dude. I have a such a wide blend of '90s music for myself that I'm even incorporating because there was things called alternative and things called grunge. So that was always a debate, like which one's which. And so we would say, well, like most of Seattle is grunge, obviously, and then the alternative sounds like Stone Temple Pilots because they were out of LA, and
I'd
we
say
were
they fit into grunge now.
yeah, pretty much. And that's coming from a '90s kid myself.
Yeah,
Um,
we have a lot of great alternative bands here in Canada that I don't even think bled through into the states. Like Our Lady Peace. Have you heard of them?
I've heard of them. It's not something I normally follow, but I've heard a few
See, like,
tracks.
man, look up the album "Clumsy" by Our Lady Peace. It's on par with Nevermind.
Oh wow.
Um, Another great Canadian alternative grunge band is Moist.
Oh, Moist.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've heard of them
okay,
as well.
they're freaking awesome. Who else we got? Big Wreck.
Yeah,
Big Wreck is another huge one here. Well, huge in the '90s. Man, we had a lot of great grunge here in Canada.
yeah. For me, it's not just the grunge being somewhat in the '80s. I grew up having MTV in front of me, so I would say even like Dire Straits with that whole I want my MTV. I was like, that was the goal, man. It's like to get your video and play your guitar on the MTV kind of thing. But
That's my favorite guitar intro ever.
yeah, yeah, that's iconic. Another one is when Kiss came back with the makeup, like in '96 or something like that. My parents took me to see Kiss, and I wasn't but 11, 12, maybe 12 years old, and seeing Gene Simmons like spit fire, like because I'm on the front row, like over my head, and I'm like, I want to do that. Like that's that's how I knew I wanted to play guitar and be on stage and that kind of thing. But
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. So seeing stuff like that, like I wasn't a huge Kiss fan, but I guess my parents were, and they listened to a lot. What I guess the kids call today butt rock or something like that because of ACDC and stuff like that. But
Yeah, not a big Kiss fan either, but yeah,
yeah,
they've done it for years. They put on
yeah.
a good show. They're doing something right.
That's what I was wanting to get at because, like, for me, like my favorite frontman was like David Lee Roth, like even with Van Halen and solo, and not to know that his influences was Louis Prima from like big band, and a guy that played the trumpet, like,
Oh wow.
and I guess because he got to practice with like Vegas showgirls, like growing up and all that stuff, so have showmanship on stage is a big key.
Yeah,
So
that's it.
yeah. So with you being on stage and everything, how important is stage presence versus like the performance side, getting the crowd into it? Is it really the tracks and having the following, or
Stage presence. I mean, you gotta have some. You can't have none, right? I mean, people don't go there to stare at statues.
yeah,
Um, and in our case, we have two singers, right? We have me and Sandrine, who both take on lead. Sometimes I'm the lead singer on one, she'll be the singer on the other. A lot of our newer stuff is back and forth. So it gives us that space to each do our thing. If I'm not singing, I'm moving. I have to be.
yeah,
And
I hear
same
you,
with
dude.
her. She's just a natural at it. She's moving constantly. But yeah, no, you gotta have stage presence.
Yeah, that's a huge key. For me, I because of watching stuff in the '80s, I learned how to play like upside down. Like
Oh,
Rudy Sarzo from watching him in Quiet Riot and stuff like that. And
see, I can't do any of the cool stuff like that, like play behind your back and whatnot.
yeah,
I jump around. I like to bounce.
yeah, all my guitar well, I didn't really have a teacher, but I had some mentors that that's the reason why I like to do the mentorship myself. But they were guitar mentors, and they would toss guitar, and I was like, I want to do that, but I'm afraid to break my guitar. They're like, no, it's a specific strap. And there's a specific technique you can actually go under, and under it relies on the strap to go in circular motion within your shoulder. Because if you go the other way around, then the strap just catches your shoulder, so you really have to hope for the best.
Yeah, that's it.
But
I had a friend who could do it, and he was trying to show me. And every time I was about to do it, I was like, nope, can't bring myself to do it.
so
Not worth the risk.
yeah, I had a Ibanez GAX or something like that. It was red SG knockoff looking thing, and I think I paid $50 for it. And that's what I practiced with. I would like perform the song, and right when it got to the rest, it'd be a whole note rest, just a dead stop, and then I would practice on it. The strap button would come out from underneath it. It would slide across the stage and stuff.
Oh, worst nightmare.
Yeah, but practice on that kind of stuff first before you kind of do it with the $1,000 Ibanez or something like that. So,
Yeah, yeah. No, I would stray away from that type of stage presence, especially for our band. I think that would be a little too showmanship for what we put out there.
yeah, I mean it'd be definitely more than what I'm doing right now with the country rock and blues. So
I've heard you guys though; you guys are great.
yeah, we got that dynamic thing because we do harmonies, and I'm not a vocalist. They're pushing me like to do the background, and I still can't get the harmonies right, man. I'm still doing like the main vocal underneath the other main vocal because I can't get what, okay, here's a third, here's a fifth. I don't know where I'm at.
Sometimes it fits, though. I
Yeah,
have that problem too with Sandra, and we'll be singing, writing a new song or whatever, and she's like, "You can't be singing the same thing as I'm singing," and I'm like, "Well, sounds good to me."
yeah, because it's doubled, and that makes sense to me. Oh, if it's doubled, it's full, but I guess having a third or a fifth in there, and it brings a whole new dynamic, and I don't know where to put those parts in. Like I'm just trying to play the notes on the guitar already, and then trying to sing parts over top of that. It's just like way over my head right now.
What I'll do is I'll just steal her parts. Well, that's the part that I can sing, so you're the one finding the harmony now.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm sitting at with the background vocal myself. So I'm trying to push my techniques too and learn. You never stop learning. That's kind of my thing. So with those influences, I would say like what were good power dynamics that you heard that maybe had two or three vocalists in the grunge area that
Um, Man, you know what? I was influenced by a lot of that music, but I wouldn't say we put it into our own music. So trying to find something comparable to ourselves from back then, it's
Sonic
kind of,
Youth maybe?
yeah, definitely. Um,
Nirvana with the whole Dave Grohl doing background?
yeah, Nirvana was always one of my favorite bands. Got a
Yeah,
Nirvana tattoo here. First
nice.
tattoo I got when I was 17 years old.
Yeah, the Anarchy Smiley.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wear a lot of Nirvana stuff. My kids are like, "Is Nirvana a clothing brand?" I'm like, "No, Nirvana was
No,
like a band that."
no.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. Actually, they wear Nirvana stuff now because they know who it is, and
Well, yeah, you've trained them well.
I think they had a good leader to follow. But when I was their age, I was starting to listen to Korn and new metal. So
Oh yeah, definitely had my new metal phase. I've gone through many phases, so I guess it's not just grunge that influenced me. It's grunge and alt is probably like what's closest in my heart.
yeah,
But I went through all the phases: new metal, thrash metal, punk rock. Actually, punk rock is still right under grunge at the top of my list.
yeah, it's so raw. I mean, they really got the power chords down, but all those changes are so fast.
That's it. I think like one of my top five bands is definitely Pennywise,
Oh yeah,
and
that's a good
yeah,
one.
they rip.
I listen to more of the skater stuff, but just because it was in the video games, like Less Than Jake, but that's like ska kind of area, and that kind of
It's,
thing.
it's skate punk.
Yeah, it's skate punk. I guess that's what. Yeah, that's the name for it. Duh, Tony.
With
Skate punk.
Milton Collin and Goldfinger and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. H2O was one of my favorites because
I don't know them.
um, I think they were more like Southern Cal kind of skate punk, but they were so fast, and that's what caught my attention because like they were playing like 220, 240 beats per minute. And I'm like, how do they change chords so fast? And I realized they did that like that spider change thing like Dave Mustaine uses in Megadeth. So it's like, oh, okay. So there's some techniques where you can bar a fifth this way and this way between the two ones. So I started learning how to do that too, just to get my changes. But that's only to bar a chord.
You mentioned Megadeth. Are you team Dave or team Metallica?
A lot of people say I look like Hetfield. I just
A
and I've
little.
never seen the resemblance, but I look more like my dad actually than I do James Hetfield. But
Well, that makes sense.
yeah, I really grew up with the Metallica following like my whole life, and then my friends were like Team Megadeth. But I'm like, why choose? I'd went both, dude. Dude, I could do Creeping Death and Ride the Lightning and Kill 'Em All album stuff, which I know is like Mustaine influence. Like, cause Call of Cthulhu is like one of my favorite. All their instrumentals are just bangers. But then they ran out of Dave's music, is what I said, and they started playing heavy blues like Load and Reload, which that's what the whole fan base even talks about.
You know,
And
everybody hates on those, but those are two of my favorite albums. They
yeah,
have some of the strongest rhythm sections in that album. Like,
and he spent a lot of vocal rehearsals learning how to improve his vocals, so he wasn't just like yelling like he traditionally did. But Dave Mustaine never
Brutal.
changed his vocals. His was just like straight up like a Muppet character or something from Sesame Street, like Cookie Monster trying to sing with his voice. But I'd blame that being part ginger because I have the same problem. And,
No,
we
he's
have,
not one of those unique voices though. If he didn't have that voice, Megadeth wouldn't be Megadeth. Like,
yeah. But my friends, some of my friends just couldn't stand hearing it because of that. But they couldn't even listen to bands like Children of Bodom or anything else like that because it's a high pitched vocal kind of stuff. But
yeah, I think in Megadeth though, it's like it's the guitar that steals the show. Like
oh
he's
yeah,
so much better than Kirk Hammett.
like from Marty Freeman to Chris Broderick, even that's Sean Drover was good as well. Um, Nick Menza was my dude, man. Like as far as drums and everything, that was kind of a thing. But
Yeah, I'd say Megadeth writes better music. Metallica plays better music.
yeah, they had more of the rhythm section down, and not really the showmanship of soloing and all that kind of thing. But uh, I would say like for me, like Kill Switch Engage, Lamb of God, that whole era, like with the new American metal and hardcore metalcore era kind of thing. Hatebreed was in that list. I listened to a lot of that stuff when it came out too, and this is like after new metal, obviously. Trivium to me was like kind of the next upcoming, like Metallica ish,
Yeah,
Rash style.
they were they were amazing, and I say were because
Yeah,
all kind of fallen off the map for me. I don't like
yeah.
where they.
They lost Travis and went with Corey on drums, and that just went more. They wanted to get into the hardcore side so they can kind of grab that audience because they would play events like Walk In and some of those events where it's a lot of metalcore and hardcore bands just a little heavier than Van's Warped Tour kind of stuff, and
Yeah,
they were just trying to grab that crowd, and I think they let their audience like take over the music kind of stuff. But those first three albums, all the way up to like Shogun, that stuff was like great, and I liked even all the bass parts. Like Paulo did all the bass parts and stuff like that. That was just riffage on top of the guitar riffs was nuts for me. But
yeah. Oh, that's it. I met Corey back in, geez, I want to say 2009 ish. It was around the Shogun era when I was working for Dean Guitars.
yeah,
Yeah, I was really into their music then. He was a really chill guy too.
yeah, I actually got to play his Sig. A friend of mine had his red V. They had the little horns inside the V. It was cool, and I've had a few dimes myself, and played with a few Deans. I actually have two Deans behind me: the V acoustic, the white one, and the black one. Yet
Yeah,
to find a natural one.
he used to have a nice BWG. So it was the Rick Emmett signature model. I don't know if you
Oh
know.
yeah,
You know who Rick Emmett is from Triumph?
not exactly. I've always saw the guitar, and I not really listened to a lot of Triumph, but
That's another great Canadian band.
yeah,
Gotta
it
check
was
it out.
it was close to the Michael Shankner V, wasn't it?
Very much, yeah.
Yeah, and that's where I kind of got a love for their V's and that side as well. A V just sits different, man. Like you put the horn like right on your kneecap and put your foot on the monitor and just shred, dude. Like that's what a V does. It's a
Yeah.
solo machine.
I had a lot of fun with that back in the day. I used to play in the thrash metal band in around 2005 ish, and yeah, that Dean was my go-to. I don't play it anymore though. I had a little accident where I had to have a surgery on my hand, so I can't play the way that I used to. So
Oh man.
I mean, I can still play. I learned this happened 5 years ago when I broke it. Like I shattered my metatarsal. So this whole bone
Oh yeah.
exploded. Took me less than a year to get back into it and do all my physio, work out my hands. But yeah, I still can't. Like if I hold power chords for too long, like that's probably the hardest thing for me to play right now is a song that is all power chords.
Oh yeah. That's a workout. That's what I call it. It's literally like a guitar workout. Like I
Yeah,
would
or bar chords. If the entire song is just like 4 minutes straight of bar chords, like
yeah. Dude, I would work out with songs like, Master of Puppets,
see, I could play stuff like that no problem.
yeah, Shortest Straw, which was like that all down pick, Battery all down pick, stuff like that, like playing Metallica, and then I would like play my stuff, and I'm like, how come I can't play with that punch like I try to play with the Metallica stuff, and I just realized that's part of the writing of the songs and that kind of thing too. So. But it's taken me more than 20 years to lighten my touch, so now I'm playing with Stratocasters. You want to talk about something that points out all your mistakes in your fret hand and your pick hand is get a single coil guitar. It will point it out in a heartbeat. And that's where my learning curve has been lately is learning a lot of single coil guitars.
Yeah,
So
I've
with
got a Fender Bullet Strat. Sorry, a Squire Bullet Strat that I picked up for $45 on
nice,
Facebook Marketplace.
nice,
Yeah, I love that. I'm definitely a Fender guy. I've got behind me. There's my Meteora.
yeah,
Uh, my go-to guitar is a Mustang. which is at my studio right now. So
Okay, yeah, that's definitely the Cobain influence there. So yeah,
for
but
me, yeah, well, it's that, and for me, it's the short scale. So yeah, it makes it a lot easier in my hand to be able to play the short scale guitar.
I hear
It's
you.
smaller, and the neck has really nice taper on it that other Fenders don't have.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about because I would only know that from having my neighbors, and I'm gonna be trying to be gentle with it right here. But this is a '62 Jaguar, and
It's beautiful. That's my
the
well, we
width at
got
the
right
top
here.
is so narrow because of that whole profile. I mean, guitars aren't even made like this anymore because of that. But like, I could literally thumb over like the entire top fret because of
I
how
do that. It's like that's how I use it
yeah.
sometimes, just because you can.
Yeah, I just never got used to doing like the Hendrix and Stevie Ray Vaughan thumb over like kind of F shaped kind of bar chords. I would say, um, because I'm short myself. Like I'm only like 5'6", so I don't have like huge hands. But I try to get around the neck on those things. But
Sandrine as well. She plays a Mustang bass for that exact reason. She's like, my hands are too small. I can't play anything else.
yeah,
She holds a Fender jazz bass. She looks like a midget. Like
yeah. So tell me more. You probably can't disclose all your new stuff, but uh, if you got some stuff to plug away, go ahead. And here to support you guys. Actually, the whole TSP channel is for you guys. So if you got new content, dude, throw it up there and share it for us. Absolutely. So go ahead and share away.
what to plug? What to plug? I guess first things first. Anybody that wants to go check us out, head to our website. You'll find everything on our website, www.radiummoon.com. Find all the links to our socials there, all the streaming platforms, Spotify, Deezer, Amazon, the whole list, YouTube, etc. Oh, today is Bandcamp Friday. That's a good thing.
Nice.
So if you want to go to Bandcamp and purchase our album, it's the one day a month where 100% of the proceeds actually come to us, and we don't have to pay Bandcamp anything.
Nice.
What else? We've got some merch links up on our website. We're poor. We could use some money to fund our next album if you want. And again, lucky surprise for this week only. I'm pretty sure up until next Friday, all of our merch is 15% off.
Nice, dude.
What else do I have to plug? We have records for all of you vinyl fans.
Dang, dude, you got vinyl?
We got our first album. Oh, this is closed. Get our first album on vinyl. We can get our Supersonic Jesus album on vinyl. This one's pretty special. This is clear.
Oh wow, that's cool.
And it's got a special bonus track too. You can catch voices on there as well. But that's a version you can't find anywhere else. So album exclusive. Nice. But yeah, all the links for all of our merch and stuff like that is just on our website, radiummoon.com.
You got some dates coming up?
We do. I'm not going to pull out my phone and calendar and go through them all, but
they're on the site.
If you're from the Montreal area and you want to come check us out, yeah, come to our website.
Cool. You guys heard it from Brandon first, so check out Radium Moon. All right, I want to thank all you guys and your time today with the Signal Path and our Signal Path podcast. Definitely want to thank my guest, Brandon Muir, on here from Radium Moon.
Thank you
for coming on here today, dude.
Thank you, man. It's a blast.
Yeah, and as always, we have all of our links and sites always published. We got an Insta, Facebook. You can ask me anything. We also got our Patreon and YouTube, so all this will be going up, and hopefully I'll get this published out soon, and you guys will be hearing this here shortly. Brandon, I appreciate it, dude. Keep on jamming.
Thanks, man. Check out the Signal Path.
Yeah, Signal Path. Bye, guys.
Later.